Though we were first made aware of Xenoblade Chronicles back at E3 2006, the long overdue RPG finally sees a North American release just as the Wii nears the finish line. After all the brouhaha over Nintendo's lack of commitment to the game's localization, is it better late than never for Xenoblade? Or should it have been left to wither in obscurity?
It's now or never, Dunban. Let's show them what we got.
The Titans were locked in a timeless battle. Until at last, only their lifeless corpses remained.
Xenoblade's story feels distinct from the very get-go. The entire game takes place on a world comprised of two giant mechanical beasts, one known as Bionis, where organic life flourishes, and another called Mechanis, where synthetic beings live in secrecy and only ever come out to feed on the peaceful inhabitants of its neighbor. The game begins with a group of friends setting off on a quest for revenge after an attack ravages their hometown. But as they encounter new allies and foes along their journey, they learn that things aren't as simple as they first appeared.
On the other side of those clouds.
Yep. It's our enemy.
Though the writing isn't the best, it's still a cut above what you'd expect from a Japanese RPG, and the story really excels at keeping you intrigued with a constant stream of surprises and twists. The lead up to the finale in particular is a surreal experience that borders on convoluted, but the payoff is well worth it.
Do you wish to change it? The future?
My loyal and beloved subjects, Saurian Antiqua speaks.
Where the vast majority of RPGs to come out of Japan in recent years are unrelentingly linear, Xenoblade is vast and sprawling, with a major emphasis on freedom and exploration. Each of the interconnected regions is teeming with enemies, secrets, NPCs to interact with, bouts of platforming, random loot you can use for crafting, and lots of side objectives. Trekking through these massive zones for the first time is a rewarding endeavor. Conversely, backtracking through them on your various errands will surely test your patience. Thankfully, Xenoblade gives you the option to instantly warp to waypoints in any zone you've already visited after you've discovered them. This preserves the sense of exploration, but cuts down on the most excessive instances of backtracking. A similar feature that's just as useful is the ability to change the time of day instantly. Since the game's enemies and NPCs all keep schedules and shift locations based on the clock, being able to speed up time relieves a lot of potential tedium.
Go and make your next delivery.
You're also given a multitude of options when it comes to character progression. There are nearly 500 side quests available, and they're easily the most efficient way to level up. You can expect all of the conveniences you'd associate with a game that's structured this way too, like the way the game notifies you when a certain item you've picked up is associated with a quest you've yet to initiate.
I'm not finished yet.
In addition to leveling up your party, you can also improve their attributes through a variety of means. You can upgrade your weapons and gear either by purchasing them from vendors or looting them off of vanquished monsters. And some of your arsenal can be further enhanced by adding gems you've collected or crafted that provide stat boosts or other buffs. Each character also has 3 skill trees to pick from that will unlock new powers as you progress, with the ability to cross-link certain skills between other party members to stack their effects. If this process sounds involved and fiddly, it's because it is, but the complexity affords you a level of variety that few other games can approach.
That is a big ball of something.
Xenoblade is a beast to complete, clocking in at a minimum of 70+ hours, and that number can easily double if you tackle everything the game has to offer. The amount of stuff you can undertake at any given time is simply staggering, and while much of it is optional, you'll likely feel inclined to tread the road less traveled simply to take in more of this wonderful world.
No matter how many times I see this, I never get used to it.
Stay back! I'll take it from here!
Xenoblade allows you several control options to pick from, but given the game's complex scheme, you'll most likely want to utilize the classic controller. Unlike the breezy active exploration, combat is quite involved. You typically initiate a battle by targeting an enemy and selecting to engage it. Once you're in combat, you'll auto-attack when you're in range and unleash special skills that are governed by a cooldown system. These attacks have varying effects, from inflicting damage to curing status ailments.
We can definitely do this!
The combat system shines brightest when it encourages you to take a broad view of your party's capabilities. Similar to how skill chains work in other RPGs, you can initiate specific sequences of attacks that cause extra damage to opponents or trigger other special effects. Oftentimes, bringing these coordinated attacks to bear is the only way to efficiently damage certain enemies. Since you can't always rely on your AI partners to recognize that you've initiated a chain sequence, however, you're also given an ability to call a team attack that taps into your party gauge displayed in the upper left corner of the screen. When you trigger a team attack, you can then manually select each party member's action, making it easier to achieve a skill chain.
Wow! Shot's pretty awesome!
After you reach a certain point in the game, the main character gains the ability to see into the future. This becomes particularly useful during tougher battles, as it gives you a heads up as to what the enemy's next move will be. You can then use this knowledge to change the outcome by spending some of your party gauge to warn a member of an impending attack. All these elements add up to a battle system that's tactically engrossing, refreshingly novel, and easily the highlight of the experience.
Just now, it was as if I could see into the future.
Xenoblade is ambitious in its level of detail and scale, though while things look gorgeous when viewed from a distance, it all gets a bit murky when you're up close and personal.
No!
But regardless of how the game's technical limitations may break your immersion every now and then, it's hard to overlook what it manages to accomplish in spite of them. The visual style is distinct and interesting, and the art admirably realizes the bizarre concept of a world thriving atop two giant living beings. It doesn't quite rival what's possible in HD-capable platforms, but it's quite an effort nonetheless. The game's soundtrack is an instant classic, with dozens of memorable tracks that capture the sense of adventure and exploration. Don't be surprised if you catch yourself more than once simply stopping to take in the scenic vistas and music. Xenoblade crafts an unforgettable world.
Charlotte, wait!
There's been a lot of talk lately about how Japanese RPGs are fading into irrelevancy with their increasingly linear designs, but Xenoblade delivers a world where you're free to explore at your own pace that frequently entices you to indulge in its many extracurricular activities. This is easily one of the best games on the Wii, and one that you shouldn't miss out on.
Thanks.